Yo! Welcome to chapter 14 and for the next of my Fire Emblem 6 Loton Count playthrough. We finally reached the desert map, and since desert maps aren't complicated enough to traverse already, this one is full of water. How great. Only our flyers and mages have full movement here, and the cavalry is limited to a mediocre 2 movement, greatly reducing their usability, rendering them useless to reach the gate fast. Reaching the gate shouldn't be a problem still, as Shanna is by far our strongest unit. Like most desert maps, this game has items that we have to find on the ground. Some of them are key items for this playthrough. The boots near the starting point, the silver card in the top left, and the almighty warp staff all the way to the bottom right. The warp staff is finally within reach. The problem, however, is that Soul still needs 2 levels to have enough magic, and 6 weapon EXP to reach A rank, and we want to finish this map in 3 turns. Right from the start we're joined by 2 characters, Sophia and Cecilia. Sophia is a level 1 druid with 2 AS and very mediocre stats, who doesn't have the con to rescue anyone. Cecilia, however, is much more interesting as she's a pro-promoted Valkyrie, giving us 1 extra mounted unit. Oh, and A-rank anima allows her to use Arcalibur to kill flyers, and C-rank staff allows her to use physic, I guess. So first off, we got the boots with Cecilia using RNG manipulation. If you reset the game, and then pop the portrait menu and don't open any other menu, you are guaranteed to get a desert item with the next character you move. This works completely separately to the RNG we've been manipulating all this time. As one would expect, we give the boost to Shanna, who is now at 10 movements. Lalum then dancers so she can go towards the boss room with Roy. Melody, being our second best unit, will be in charge of picking up the warp staff, as well as the silent staff on the way, and brought Lina with her so she can get some EXP in Hell's training camp. You'll see what I mean later. Soul is once again going on a crusade against scary enemy squadrons on the top left so he can get EXP there. Sophia and Astor are on item pickup duty, as they will go for the few items hidden around the starting position. The torch we got on chapter 12x will be used by Shanna here as well, not so much for this turn, but for the final turn of the map, and this is really the only time she has to use it. Despite the fact that Soul will be attacked by 4 Wyvern Rider, a Wyvern Lord, and a Manakite, his chance of death on this turn is only around 30%, as all Wyverns only have around 80 to 27% displayed hit on it. The Manakite does have 82% displayed hit and 6% crit chance, so it is also a potential issue here. We also needed the 5% crit on the Wyvern Lord in order to kill it. With all this, Soul managed to get a level up with HP, magic, and resistance. We also placed Lou in range of the mage, so that way he can be a new target for Soul on next turn. Milady took a hit for the same reason. Turn 2, however, is when we will go really crazy, and thus required to burn 3097 random numbers for the next enemy phase to work. Shanna will drop Roy in range of the gate to seize, and puts herself in a position to see and kill the boss as well. Soul will heal both Melody and Lou thanks to Lalum, but still needs 1 more level, so despite the fact that he will be killed by the next Manakite attack, goes back to fight him. But that's probably not the scariest thing we're doing here, as Melody will casually drop level 9 Lilina in the middle of the enemy's army. I'm sure she's got this. So, back to calculating odds. Soul needs to dodge the Manakite, who has a 94.7% chance to hit. Lilina tanks the Mercenary and the Wyvern, so everyone targets her instead of Melody as she's at 1 HP. But from there, everything else she needs to dodge, which is 1 other Wyvern Knight, the Wyvern Lord, and 2 mages, and she has an 11% chance to survive all this. Add to that Soul survival, and boss character leaving this EP is already only at 0.55% chance to happen. But we didn't do that for no reason, right? Lilina is getting 2 levels, in which we still want magic and speed. Because the odds of survival are so low, we had to settle with the first one being magic, speed, and defense, second one HP, magic, luck, and resistance. Fun fact, Lilina needs to be at 14 resistance or less after her first level up here, or the second mage will go for Melody instead, as he wouldn't deal any damage to Lilina otherwise. Melody still gets attacked by 1 mage, which allows us to drop yet another javelin to 2 uses. I hope you can see now why this was Hell's training camp. Roy is also getting attacked here, but he's beefy enough to pretty much survive anything we'll face. He does get to kill a Wyvern with a Killing Edge crit, we will gladly take, though that's really not what we're concerned with here. Lou also gets attacked here, which will make yet again another perfect target for Soul on the final turn. Phew! Now there is another issue here. Soul is 27 EXP away from level 7, and 3 staff uses away from A rank staff. At this point, you probably know what's going to happen. Soul will first heal you, and then be danced by Ladon so he can use his staff again. But we need another dance one way or another, so Lou will sacrifice himself by getting crit by the Thunder Mage to make Ladon move again. And now Soul can heal both Zealot and Melody, and gets once again a perfect level but luck, 517 rounds away, reaching the 18 magic benchmark we need and Eric staff just in time. But at what cost? Well, really, mostly just a bothering we had to feed on Lou on chapter 13, as he otherwise wouldn't have been able to rescue Ladon. Or are you sad because of Lou? Well, he was a good boy, and he did his best, and was great early on, but now there wasn't much place for him, so bench time it is. Shanna gets to kill the boss with a 4% crit, Lily gets a warp staff and burns 364 random numbers, so that Lilna gets a 6% crit on the Wyvern Lord, and get a perfect level but defense. Azor also gets to pick up a Speedwing on the bottom left, and Sophia gets the silver card on the top left, which allows to buy items at half price, which I'm sure you all know what this is for. There is 2 desert items that we ended up not grabbing. First is a Silver Blade, which we actually could have picked up with Melody at the end of turn 2, but we don't really need such a weapon. The other one is the Guiding Ring near the boss, but only Sophia can pick it up, and there is no way we are bringing her over there for 4000 gold. Roy gets to seize, finishing the chapter in 3 turns, and since Sophia is alive, and we finish the map in less than 25 turns, we can move on to chapter 14X. Chapter 14X has an annoying gimmick that makes tiles be replaced by water. You are attacked by bolting mages throughout the map, and it's pretty annoying. So, I could deal with all this, or I could use a warp staff! This is the moment we've been building Soul for since we recruited him. The nice thing about the warp staff in FS6 is that the range isn't magic divided by 2 or divided by 4 like the most recent games. It's magic divided by 2 plus 5. So our Soul, with 18 magic, actually has 14 warp range. In order to get a 1 turn here, you need to use 2 warp staff uses, and without casualty you need to have 23 magic, which we just couldn't afford, so sadly someone will have to go. And who's better to die to mages than Barth himself? Well, you outlived your other Tin Can bros, but this is sadly your demise, as you will be completely annihilated, or rather, roasted by the Sage Boss. Melody also gets to kill one more dude for EXP before we give the kill of the boss to Sue, who gets a strength, skill, and speed level up. Now, even if Soul is not done training, we can calm down on that side and focus more on training the Nomads, as they still have less EXP together than Shanna alone. Since we want to go to Sake, Sue and Shin needs to get more XP than Shanna before the end of chapter 16X, which is in 3 chapters. Shanna right now is sitting at 1796 EXP, while Sue and Shin combined makes 1684. And just like that, we skip chapter 14X in 1 turn. See you next time for chapter 15.